The night I watched her lose everything, standing in the rain outside that glass-walled restaurant while the whole world crumbled around her. I didn't feel a single thing. Not joy, not guilt, not even satisfaction. Just a cold, clean nothing. And honestly, that scared me more than anything she'd ever done. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back 10 years, to the day my best friend decided to erase me from my own life. Rachel and I were inseparable since the 3rd grade, the kind of friendship that makes other people jealous, finishing each other's sentences, matching Halloween costumes, the whole thing. She was bold where I was shy, loud where I was quiet. People used to joke that we shared a brain. By the time we hit our 20s, we'd survived everything together. Her parents' divorce, my dad's cancer scare, bad breakups, worse haircuts. She was the person I called first for everything. Always. After college, we both landed jobs in marketing. I was at a mid-size agency, grinding away, building a portfolio. Rachel bounced between gigs. She was talented, but restless, never satisfied. When I got promoted to senior strategist at 26, she threw me a party, hugged me tight, told me she was so proud of me. But I had no idea that behind that smile, something dark was already growing. I'd been dating James for about a year at that point. He was this quiet, steady guy, an architect with kind eyes and a laugh that could fill an entire room. Rachel always said she was happy for us. "You deserve someone like him," she'd tell me. "He's one of the good ones." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She was my person. The first sign I missed was the phone. Rachel started texting more often, but not to me. She'd be glued to her screen during our girls' nights, smiling at something I couldn't see, then brushing it off as work stuff. I didn't think anything of it. I trusted her completely. That was my mistake. Then came the job. My agency was hiring a new creative director, a big role, one I'd been eyeing for months. I'd prepared a pitch, worked nights and weekends on a campaign concept that I was genuinely proud of. I made the mistake of sharing it with Rachel over wine one Tuesday night. Every detail, every slide. She listened intently, asked smart questions, told me it was absolutely brilliant. 2 weeks later, I walked into my boss's office for the pitch meeting and watched a stranger present my exact concept. Every idea, every tagline, every strategic framework. He'd been referred by an employee. And when I checked, the referral came from Rachel's email. She'd sent my entire pitch to a guy she knew, helped him polish it, and connected him with my company. He got the job. I was devastated. When I confronted Rachel, she was shocked. At first, then the tears came. I didn't know he'd use it like that. I just mentioned a few ideas in passing. You have to believe me. She sobbed. She begged. She made me feel like I was the crazy one for even suspecting her. And because she was Rachel, because she was my best friend of 17 years, I swallowed my doubt and forgave her. That's when everything changed, but I wouldn't see it clearly for another year. The truth hit me on a Thursday afternoon, the most ordinary of days. I came home early from work, migraine, nothing dramatic, and found James's phone on the kitchen counter. It buzzed. A message from R with a heart emoji and 4 words that stopped my heart. Can't wait. Tonight. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. I scrolled up. Months of messages, months. Rachel and James. Hotel reservations, inside jokes. Photos I'll never be able to unsee. My best friend and the man I thought I'd marry, building an entire secret life behind my back. The room spun. I sat on the kitchen floor for what felt like hours, just staring at the wall. No tears, no screaming, just this hollow, ringing silence inside my head. Like someone had detonated a bomb and I was standing in the crater watching the dust settle. But what I found next changed everything. Buried in the messages was a conversation about me. Rachel had written, "She's so naive. She still doesn't suspect a thing about the pitch either. Honestly, it's almost too easy." James responded with a laughing emoji. They were mocking me. Not just the affair. They were laughing about how Rachel had sabotaged my career and how blind I'd been to all of it. I didn't confront them. Not that night. Not that week. Something inside me had shifted, hardened into something I didn't recognize. I quietly packed a bag, told James I was visiting my mom for the weekend, and checked into a hotel. I sat in that sterile room staring at the ceiling and made a decision that would take me 10 years to complete. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to dismantle both of them piece by piece so slowly they'd never see it coming. The first 2 years were about rebuilding myself. I left James without drama, told him I needed space to grow, which was vague enough that he didn't panic. I left the agency, took a risk, and started my own marketing consultancy. I worked 18-hour days, fewer texts, busier schedule. "Sorry, work's been insane," she barely noticed. She was too busy playing house with James, who she officially started dating about 3 months after I moved out. How convenient. Meanwhile, I was building something else entirely, a file. Every connection Rachel had, every client she worked with, every professional relationship she'd cultivated, I mapped it. I studied her career the way a general studies a battlefield. Not to attack, not yet. To understand. By year 5, my consultancy was thriving. I had a team of 12, clients in 3 states, and a reputation for being the person who could turn any brand around. Rachel, on the other hand, had started her own agency, funded heavily by James, who'd become a partner at his firm. They were the golden couple. Magazine features, industry panels, a big house in the suburbs with a pool and a golden retriever. From the outside, they had everything. But I knew something they didn't. I knew that Rachel's business was built on a house of cards. She'd been taking credit for other people's work for years. I wasn't her only victim. I'd connected with 6 other people she'd stolen ideas from, borrowed strategies without credit, or outright plagiarized. I had emails, timestamps, side-by-side comparisons. A decade of theft, carefully documented. If you're still with me, a quick like really helps the channel grow. Year 8, I was ready. But revenge isn't a hammer, it's a scalpel. I didn't want to destroy Rachel in a single blow. I wanted her to watch it happen slowly, unable to stop it. Step 1. I started a professional blog analyzing marketing case studies. One of my first pieces dissected a campaign Rachel had won an industry award for. I didn't name her directly. I just demonstrated with receipts that the core strategy was identical to work published 2 years earlier by someone else. The article went viral in marketing circles. People started asking questions. Step 2. I hired 3 of her best employees. Not by poaching, by being a better place to work. Better pay, better culture, better growth opportunities. They came willingly, and they brought stories with them. Stories about Rachel's management style, her habit of presenting team ideas as her own, her explosive temper behind closed doors. Step 3. The investors. Rachel had been courting a major investment firm to expand her agency. I knew the managing partner. He'd been a client of mine for 2 years. Over coffee one morning, I simply mentioned that I'd heard some concerns about the agency's creative integrity. I suggested he might want to do enhanced due diligence. I didn't say another word about it. I didn't need to. The due diligence uncovered everything. The investment fell through. Rachel's agency, stretched thin from rapid expansion, started hemorrhaging cash. Clients got nervous. 2 major accounts pulled out within a month. The dominoes were falling and I hadn't laid a finger on them. I'd just removed the glue. Then came the twist I didn't plan. Year 9. James called me. He actually called me after almost a decade of silence. His voice was shaking. "She's been lying to me too," he said. "About everything. The business, the finances. She took out loans in my name. My credit is destroyed." I listened. I didn't gloat. I didn't say, "I told you so." I just asked, very quietly, "How does it feel to realize you never really knew her?" The silence on the other end told me everything. The final piece fell into place on a rainy Tuesday night, exactly 10 years and 3 days after I'd found those messages on James's phone. Rachel's agency filed for bankruptcy. Her marriage to James was over. He'd filed for divorce after discovering she'd hidden $300,000 in debt. Her industry reputation was in ruins. And me? I was sitting in a window seat at the most exclusive restaurant in the city, celebrating my company's acquisition by a national firm. A deal worth more than everything Rachel had ever built, combined. I saw her outside, standing in the rain across the street, staring at me through the glass. She looked broken, hollow, like someone who'd just realized that every shortcut she'd ever taken had led her straight to a dead end. Our eyes met for exactly 3 seconds. I didn't wave. I didn't smile. I just turned back to my champagne and let the moment pass. Some people say revenge is a dish best served cold. I say it's not a dish at all. It's architecture. It's building something so solid, so undeniable, that the person who wronged you has to watch your success from the ruins of their own choices. I didn't destroy Rachel. She destroyed herself. I just made sure there was nothing left to break her fall. If this story gave you chills, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Drop a like if you think patience is the ultimate weapon, and tell me in the comments, would you have waited 10 years or would you have snapped sooner? I read every single comment.